Amber sat me down on a Tuesday night. She'd made dinner, which should have been my first clue something was off, because Amber hadn't made a full dinner on a weeknight in probably 8 months. Chicken, roasted vegetables, a bottle of wine she'd opened and poured before I even sat down. I remember thinking it looked like an apology, and I hadn't figured out yet what she was apologizing for. She waited until I'd eaten most of my plate. Then she folded her hands on the table and said she'd been thinking about us, about the marriage, about what she needed to feel fulfilled. She used that word, fulfilled, and I heard every alarm in my head go off at once, quiet but clear, the way a carbon monoxide detector sounds before you really understand what it's telling you. She wanted to open the marriage. She pitched it like that too, pitched it. Not teary, not uncertain, she'd rehearsed this. There was a whole structure to it. We'd set boundaries together, we'd check in with each other. It would actually bring us closer in the long run because honesty and growth and blah, blah, blah. She sounded like she'd read 3 articles about it and memorized the vocabulary. Maybe she had. I kept my face still and let her finish. Here's what was running underneath my face while she talked. 3 months of small things that had stopped adding up. The late nights she chalked up to a project that never seemed to end. A work trip in February I never got more than a city name for Cincinnati, she'd said, like the city was explanation enough. A receipt I'd found in the console of her car when I was looking for a pen. A restaurant I'd never been to, a dinner for 2, on a date she'd told me she was working late. I hadn't confronted her about any of it. I'd filed it away. I don't know why exactly. Maybe I wasn't ready to know. Maybe I was waiting to have enough that I couldn't be argued out of what I was seeing. And now here she was, handing me the last piece and gift-wrapping it. She finished her pitch and looked at me with this careful, patient expression, like she was prepared to walk me through my own feelings if I needed help with them. I took a sip of wine. I said I'd need a few days to think about it. She blinked. I don't think that was the response she'd planned for. I think she'd expected either a quiet agreement, because I'm not a guy who likes a fight and she knew that about me, or an explosion she could point to later. Here's my controlling husband losing his mind because I asked for something reasonable. I'd seen the shape of the trap the moment she started talking. Agree and she's covered. Blow up and she's the reasonable one when the lawyers show up. I gave her neither. I said it was a big thing and I wanted to think it through properly, and I picked up my plate and took it to the sink. She said okay. She sounded uncertain, which I suspected was unfamiliar territory for her, and she topped off her wine and went to watch something in the living room. I washed the dishes. The water was hot and I kept my hands under it longer than I needed to. What I was actually thinking, she's already doing this. The open marriage isn't a request, it's a cover story she wants my signature on. Either I agree and she gets to do what she's already doing with a permission slip attached, or I refuse and she tells everyone I was the one who wouldn't even try. The dinner, the rehearsed pitch, the vocabulary, that's not a woman proposing something new. That's a woman trying to manage a situation that already exists. I'm an electrician. I've worked in live panels that could kill me if I made one wrong move. The job teaches you not to react fast. It teaches you to stop, read the situation, trace the circuit before you touch anything. Most people see calm and think weakness. What they're actually seeing is someone who's decided the risk is real enough to be careful about. I dried my hands and went upstairs. That night, after Amber was asleep, I sat at my desk with my phone and started looking into private investigators. I want to be honest about what the next few days felt like because it wasn't some clean, righteous thing. I'd go to work, pull wire, come home, eat dinner across from my wife, and smile at the right moments while knowing, underneath all of it, that I was building a case against her.